Groaners, and welcome along to episode 94 of the Groan Zone. 6 away from 100. I finally beat the cold this week, but my head has been all over the place. But I had just enough brain power to pull off writing this week's episode. Now, let's whip this episode into shape and start it off with a 5-point countdown. Clue number 5 for 5 points. I live in the sea and sometimes rock pools, and I'm considered to be intelligent. That clue again for 5 points. I live in the sea and sometimes rock pools, and I'm considered to be intelligent. Go Groaners Live, type up your answer. You're playing along at home, press pause, have your answer, unpause. Someone's wrote jellyfish. Okay. Clue number 4 for 4 points. I can change my colour to suit my mood. Clue number 4 for 4 points. I can change my colour to suit my mood. Same again as before, Groaners Live. Type up your answer. Those at home, you know what to do. They're bringing them in thick and quick this week. They're typing away. Oh, second thoughts, maybe not. Okay, moving on. Clue number 3 for 3 points. Unfortunately, I am considered a delicacy in some countries, so I am on the menu. That clue one more time. Clue 3 for 3 points. Unfortunately, I am considered a delicacy in some countries, so I am on the menu. What you got, Groaners Live, and those at home, you know what to do as well. We have the answer of octopus. Okay, so we've had jellyfish, octopus. We're still on the lines of seafood here. Okay, and moving on for clue number 2 for 2 points. If one of my limbs gets cut off, I can grow it back. Clue one more time. Clue 2 for 2 points. If one of my limbs gets cut off, I can grow it back. Groaners Live, give me your answers please. Those at home, press pause, answer, unpause. You've got a couple more seconds, Groaners, to type up those answers. Anyone coming in? And last one, clue 1 for 1 point. My blood is blue. Clue 1 for 1 point. My blood is blue. If you're going to type out the answers, you've got a little bit of time, Groaners Live. Those at home, have a think, say your answer out loud, and then unpause. Okay, just rolling on there. That's time up for 5-point countdown. Before the end of the show, we'll be revealing where you scored, if at all, points. It's time for me to offer my trio of groans to the Groan Zone. Masks. So I've had to wear a mask for the last few days as I work closely with other people and don't want to share my germs from this stupid heavy cold. Having a goatee beard with a mask over it is a bad idea as my face was itching like there were a million ants crawling all over it. The sooner the cold went, the better because I could take the mask off. Ugh. When someone uses the last of or eats the last of something, this is frustrating as hell. Make sure you have plenty of something in, as someone may want to eat that or use that. It's no good when you come to print and there is next to no paper left. Tell someone. Misinformation. Without going into vast detail and not getting involved in areas where we don't want this podcast to go, as we've seen this week, what damage misinformation can do. Instead of believing word of mouth, or in some cases the media, do your own research and also wait for truths to be revealed. Don't go off half-cocked. That's those groans swallowed whole by the Groan Zone, but I hear it is still hungry. Don't worry, groaners, we'll feed it one more groan in the form of the audience groan later on in the show. We must ask the age-old question now of why oh why once again. So energy bills are set to plummet here in the UK, yet as everyone's goes down, the elderly have to suffer again, as theirs are set to rise. A decision has been taken to strip them of their winter fuel payments, meaning they face an up to 15% rise in bills. Shouldn't we be helping the elderly more, not making things difficult for them? Thoughtless decisions. I've just got to ask, why oh why? From whys, we flip it over to the more creepy side of the show with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. This week's story is called What Came First? The factory may have been abandoned, but it was still full of life. The Mordor children made the most of what had become both their home and their tomb. Bobby had nothing more than a few words for the old man, a routine that felt all too familiar to everyone, almost like it was his job to repeat the same old thing. Your standard apology for never being able to leave, our congratulations to the soon-to-be end of their lives, and a stern warning. Avoid the basement and the scientist's room, and no matter what happens, if you hear heavy footsteps, run. He refused to stay for questions, and he and Anna turned to leave before the sounds of heavy thuds could be heard getting closer. Bobby wasted no time and ran with Anna. The old man could do nothing but encourage everyone to hide and to figure things out afterwards. The old man, Viola and Ivy hid in a large closet near the door, peeking out to see the outline of a large man. At least he thought it was a man. It had visible stitches all over its body and appeared to be drooling uncontrollably. Whatever this thing was, it clearly terrified the children that were trapped in the factory. It appeared mindless, like there was no one there anymore. As it began to leave the room in the direction that Bobby and Anna went, it caught its shirt in a rusty nail, revealing an all too familiar mark on its arm. All the old man could see was DX. Once the coast was clear, they came out of the hiding and regrouped, trying to figure out a plan of attack. They had to free the children to uphold their promise to the Reaper and find their way out. The Metal Three, however, had no need to hide. They were invisible to the creature no matter how close they got to it. All these things just added to the mystery, including, as Coco spotted on a nearby shelf, a rubber duck. The very thing they just so happened to be finding everywhere since they got out the sewer to find a home. Things were becoming far too much of a mystery to just be mere coincidence. In order to free the children, we have to find what binds their souls. There's usually a reason why they want to stay, and if we can't change their minds, I can't save them, the Reaper said. I am more concerned with the obvious fact that the building has that thing in it, and these ducks keep showing up everywhere, Viola replied. Dread could feel no true nightmares in the building at all, which meant that whatever did this was no longer around. The basement and the scientist's rooms were off limits, which made sense to try there first. Ivy was excited to see what else lived in the factory, even if she was worried about seeing that creature again. They went in the opposite path to Bobby and followed some stairs down to the kitchen where a green-haired boy sat in a mouldy sandwich. I miss food. I can't taste anything anymore, and now I eat just to keep hold of whatever I was before. We all have our ways, I suppose. Will you be the first to survive, or will Dad eat you too? The name's Gregory Green. Like all of us, we agreed to adopt the names of the dolls that we became. This is our life now, after all, the boy replied. The old man apologized for whatever happened to them. We need to see the scientist's room if they were to help them. This was something Gregory saw as a death wish, but they were to die soon anyway, so he thought, why not? It was Gregory's job to fulfill the last wish of those who dared to enter. Gregory was one of the older children, while Bobby was the youngest. Gregory had a worried look on his face, but the job was the job. The scientist's room was a mess. Bits of door lined the floor. This had to be where everything began. Gregory walked off down the hall after showing them the room, but like his brothers and sisters, he refused to go in there. Dread and Coco felt a very ominous presence lingering in the room. Whatever caused it is long gone, but its presence still remains, so they waited outside with Ivy while the old man and Viola investigated. Chains littered the floor along with a pipe stained red with blood. There was paperwork everywhere and the remains of some kind of apparatus. Viola opened a cabinet to find it full of eyes staring right back at her, and behind those eyes was yet another duck. As she threw the duck in frustration and heard its quack, that noise rippled through everyone, but the old man especially. All this time, and they never put it together. The quack of a duck. A simple thing, yet it means something so horrifying. Dr. Barnabas Quack was behind all of this. Had he been following them this whole time, or was he the one deciding where they went? Maybe he too could understand the rats, or intercepted messages. How long was he following them for? The old man knocked some paperwork on the floor, but as he went to pick it up, he saw what he feared most. DXO. This factory was a testing ground for the old man and all the others went through. That creature was the prototype. Evil doctors in stories are someone I always hope get their comeuppance in a roundabout way. I hope Quack gets what's coming to him. Unfortunately, Groaners, on that note, we'll have no more creepy until next week, and mega props to Adam and Nicole for coming out with another belter story. But now, Groaners, are you feeling lucky? Let's test that with Double Down Dummies. Round 1. Our first unfortunate Darwin is a poor 89-year-old man who crashed into a fire hydrant in Florida. Could happen to anyone, but in this case, it led to death. But how? Was it option A? He got out of the car, and due to the water on the ground, he slipped, hitting the back of his head. He never regained consciousness. Option B. He got out of the car to check the damage. The water main leading to the hydrant had also been broken, and due to a burst of water pressure, he was sucked into a sinkhole. Or was option C, the shock of the crash caused him to have a heart attack? Due to the suddenness of the heart attack, medical aid couldn't be provided. Groaners Live, give me your answers. Those at home, pause, answer, unpause. We've got B's flying in across the board. An A, a C, yet more B's. Okay, I can see what everyone's going for here. Any more? And one more C. Round number 2. Our next Darwin occurred in North Carolina in 1988. He was taking part in a mass skydive and decided he would film the other divers in freefall. He made sure his camera was recording, then he jumped out of the plane. But how did this lead to his death? Was it option A? He pulled a ripcord near the end of the dive, but unfortunately the cable malfunctioned, and upon pulling his backup release, the parachute only partly came out. He died on impact. Was it option B? As he jumped from the plane, he managed to knock himself out. Being the last one out of the plane, no one beneath him could help him as they didn't know what trouble he was in. He died on impact. Or was it option C? He jumped from the plane, but then something horrible dawned on him. He wasn't wearing a parachute. He hurtled towards the ground, filming everything. He died on impact. Groaners Live, give me your answers please. Those at home, same as before, you know what to do. We got A's coming in. Any more? C's coming in. More A's, B's, C's. Oh, they're all flying in now. Any more? Gonna cut you off in a second, Groaners. And then A, B, C. Okay, a very mixed spread across the board this week. We'll see which were the true outcomes and who scored points later. Good luck, Groaners. Speaking of luck, we go into the stratosphere now with Oohh Unlucky. Team France were hurting this week at the Olympics. Paul Valder Anthony Amarati, apologies if I butchered your surname, was going for it, trying to clear 5.7 metres. But unfortunately, his manhood clipped the bar, causing his hopes to go up in smoke. How unlucky can someone be? And I've got to admit, I winced when I read this, and I winced again when I saw the video. All Groaners, it's your turn to groan now. Yep, it's audience groan time. This week sees our second part of our groan quadrilogy sent in via email from husband and wife Steve and Terry from the Cotswolds. Security lights really are a bugbear for us both. We get that some people have them, but to have it constantly on and shining through our window at midnight so our house looks like Blackpool illuminations is really inconsiderate. Especially as I work nights and find this to be a pain, and if I'm awake, so is Terry. Even if you have it on a long timer, so it goes off after a while, think of other people also have to get up at the crack of dawn, possibly reposition it so they don't shine towards someone else's house. Just a thought. Yes guys, I've been in this position with neighbours before, and it just contributes to light pollution. Good groan guys. If you're looking to take part in the show, you can send us groans, or unluckies, or lucky stories, a topic for why or why, feedback, your ideas, your hero or zero of the week nominations, or your what there's. How can you do this? The groanzonepod@gmail.com is our email that is just eagerly awaiting to receive. If you've got Facebook, search for the Groan Zone podcast on Facebook groups and contact us there. You can join on Discord or join in live on Discord by looking us up at the Groan Zone. We usually record at 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time every Friday, and then it gets published to be out for Sunday morning by about 8 o'clock. You can shoot a message via Facebook Messenger to admin Nicole or Nicole Amos, or myself, Mystery Groaner. Lastly, you can drop a comment on any episode and it'll be picked up. I spent another game set to test Soul Groaners. Taking the floor for another week is admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety. Your clue is, it's a sport we won a gold in for the Olympics this year. Your anagram is Hort Latin. That's H-O-R-T, Latin, as in the language, Latin. Here's hoping one of us gets it. The answer will come next week. I've not been watching the Olympics though, so I don't know. Just before the game answers, we have to scrape the bottom of the barrel and name our zero of the week. We all know about road safety, etc. Well, like something out of Back to the Future Part 1, the skateboard scene where Marty grabs the back of a car and gets pulled along his skateboard, our hapless idiot leaped onto the back of a bus to get a free ride. Not only clinging on by his fingertips, but by his useless flip-flops. He let go and come to a busy bus stop and luckily kept his footing. Groaners, please don't do this. It is not a good idea. Taking the show out this week as always is the game answers. Firstly, from last week, we have Who the Hell Am I? Your clue was, I've been in comedies and horrors, and I was big in the 80s. You could say my best role was excellent, and my surname is The Season. Your answer, of course, was Alex Winter, aka Bill from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He also had other roles away from comedy, such as a vampire in The Lost Boys, an 80s horror classic. Double down dummies now. Round 1. Your correct outcome was option B. He got out of the car to check the damage. The water main leading to the hydrant had also been broken, and due to a burst of water pressure, he was sucked into a sinkhole. I had no idea this could happen, or water mains could cause sinkholes to happen that fast. A horrible way to go. Round 2. Your correct outcome was C. He jumped from the plane, but then something horrible dawned on him. He wasn't wearing a parachute. He hurtled towards the ground, filming everything. He died on impact. The shocking thing about this Darwin, though, is that he had over 800 skydives under his belt. And the moral of this little story is, always be careful, groaners. If he can do 800 skydives and forget to put on a parachute, then God knows what can happen in life. And lastly, the 5-point countdown. The answer was, of course, an octopus. If you answered octopus out there, remember where you answered it, and therefore they are your points. Hopefully, this week points were scored, and some of you out there actually got points. Thanks for tuning in, groaners. We'll be back next week, but until then, groan on strong, groaners. Take care. Bye-bye.